recording. Here.
Actually just came back from Minnesota because we did an event, her first event for EXP. So Noelle's like a video queen. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to her and let her kind of share a little bit about what she's passionate about, what she does. Go ahead, Noelle.
Yeah, that was a great introduction.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am what David said. I am excited to be here. I have been with EXP now for about 2 months. And a huge part of this adventure for me is the video piece of it and how we have used video to recruit brokerage and now how we will use it to attract agents to EXP. That is a big part of our business model. So, do you have more questions, David?
Yeah. Do you want to give them? Well, first, I want them to experience what your videos look like, so they kind of have an idea. So you want to give them like your Facebook or your YouTube or whatever, so they can kind of log in and see when we're finished here.
Yeah. So you can find us on Bright Birch, BRIGHTBIRCH on Facebook or on YouTube. We have accounts for both of those. And then if you want to find me personally, it's just facebook.com/Noelle, Noelle, the Minnesotan, because that is where I am from, and I'm proud to be from there.
It's so cold.
He had to go home early because it was starting to look like snow, so he couldn't make it here.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anybody in the audience right now, do you guys have any questions? Anything that you'd like us to address today? Or any questions for Noelle or for myself? Or should I just kind of do a little Q&A with her? Anyone?
Yeah, do a Q&A and
to our YouTube channel. We are a very serious team here at Brent. Hey Santa, this is for Christmas.
My name is Chuck.
So for those of you not doing video or wanting to do video but are just shy on camera or don't know how to do it, what kind of tips or tricks would you give to these people that know that they have to do video because they know it's the future and they know how much more leverage that is? What tips or advice would you give them as somebody starting off with video, like just starting their first Facebook Live or starting their first production video, whatever? Like, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, give it a shot. Don't just say, I'm never going to do video. Video is not for me. You know, I think people are so full of excuses when it comes to video that they just don't even open the door to the possibility that they can actually do video. I think the way that we live, especially here with this virtual type of reality that we all clearly have joined, video has become a crucial step in our marketing process, whether it's to attract buyers and sellers or to now attract agents. I think if you're not doing video, you're missing a giant opportunity. So what I always recommend is to go and find someone like myself, or find someone that is doing video in a way that you can appreciate or that you can resonate with. And then, man, I've got a lot of people that R&D my stuff, and I'm totally fine with it, which R&D, rip off and duplicate. And I would say spend some time on YouTube watching various YouTube commercials, YouTube channels that might stand out for you, and then start figuring out how can you relate that back to real estate.
Yeah, so for me, the way it happened for me is I knew I had to do video. And I wasn't really thinking I wanted to do high quality video. And so I saw Noelle's video and I was like, this is awesome. This is what I want to do. So she wasn't with EXP at the time. So I basically brought her to the company and then flew to Minnesota to deal with her. So that's how I got into the video game. And when's our video going to be ready, Noelle?
It actually might be ready today.
Oh my God.
It might be ready today. I'm not sure that I'm ready to release this video. It is something we've never done before at Bright Birch. And yeah, I don't think the world is prepared for this video that's about to come out.
I'm already embarrassed.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
Hey, I would love to hear about equipment. So what do you use to shoot? What do you use for audio? How do you set up? How about lighting? All that kind of stuff.
Cool.
That's the $1 million question. So I would say if you're just getting started, all you need is your phone. In fact, I just did a presentation live in the real world last week about the fact that the new iPhone that is coming out is really going to be a game changer for businesses in general, not just realtors. But if I were just getting started, I would just get the new iPhone. I would get some kind of a stabilizer like an Osmo, or there's another stabilizer that's called a Movi, M-O-V-I, and shoot videos that way to start and see how that goes for you. And if you really enjoy it and you like it, then you could, upgrade to the next set of more professional gear. But for most agents, it's going to be time consuming enough to try to come up with content and to try to figure out the editing piece, that if you add in the equipment piece, that's a whole nother thing to add in. And when we have tools like the iPhone that are available to us, there's really no excuse out there. The more important piece is like figuring out what are you going to use for your content, and then also how are you going to edit. So there's a whole bunch of editing software options for you that are apps on the phone. One that I would personally use is Adobe Premiere Rush. But in order to have that, you have to have an Adobe account. So if you don't want to have to deal with Adobe, there's a ton of other options. One is called Filmmaker Pro. There's another one that's called KineMaster, K-I-N-E Master. I mean, there's a million of them, and you kind of have to figure out which one works best for you. Another thing that you could do with that is go search video editing software on the iPhone on YouTube, and there's a whole bunch of YouTube makers that will do a breakdown of all the different types of video editing software, how it'll work for you, why they prefer one way over the other, and it's really going to depend on what exactly you're trying to video. But to answer your question, if you want to start purchasing gear, what I started with for my video gear was a Canon 80D. That's 80D. That's the body. And then you have to buy a lens to go with that. So depending on what you're going to shoot will depend on how wide of a lens that you get. And then you have to buy a microphone to go on top of it. There's a shotgun mic that's called the Video Go mic. It's a Rode mic, R-O-D-E. And then you're going to want a tripod to go with that. And that's kind of like it for the basic professional gear. You can make a really good video with that. There's lots of options to get lavaliers. So that's a microphone that you pin on to yourself, or, say you're going to interview a local restaurant or a business or another agent. You should get a microphone that you pin to yourself that hooks into either your phone or your camera. There's tons of options for those too, but that would be the next step up. Any more questions on that?
How much would it cost to get all of that stuff that you just talked about?
So the second set of gear that I just talked about, I mean, you can probably go all in for less than $10,000, but keep in mind that Canon lenses are kind of expensive. So usually a good one is going to be anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000. The camera Canon body might be $1,200 to $1,500. Microphone is going to be a couple hundred. To get the editing software, you probably need to get a more upgraded laptop, unless you've got like the newer kind of Apple, or I'm an Apple person, a Mac person. But to edit videos on your computer in a high level is also takes brain power on your computer. Although so does eXp World. I don't know. I've got some agents here that need to upgrade their computers just because eXp World works it. So.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so does that answer your questions? Any other questions or any follow-ups for that?
We have somebody putting in the notes.
Yeah, I got a question. Noelle, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Are you shooting these yourself? I shoot video oftentimes with a selfie stick, and it works great. Content's great, and I do it kind of Blair Witch style, looking in the camera, and I can do wide shots with a selfie stick. Yet production value kind of lacks, with editing. So your editing comments were great, but do you shoot your own videos and edit them later, or do you have a cameraman follow you all around with the equipment and do that?
Well, the answer now is yes. Now I have a full-time videographer on staff. But when I first started doing this, I actually was shooting everything by myself. So everything. So when you look back, I've only had my videographer for a year now, and I've been doing videos for almost 3. So when you look back on my YouTube accounts and you look at the first 2/3 of my videos, you can know that I shot all that stuff on my own, which is why I tell people, you can do this. Like, if you can learn how to do a CRM and manage a new online lead system, or figure out how to do some of the things that real estate requires us to do, you can also learn how to take videos. It's not something that I went to school for to learn. I learned it all by watching YouTube videos and watching tutorials. But once you start going all in on video, it does pay to have a videographer either on staff or somebody that you contract out to work with, just like you would contract out to work with, a local photographer to shoot your listings.
So it sounds like it's paid off. It worked for you to have your own equipment and do it, selfie style for the first couple of years, but then it just made sense for you to just pay for someone else and keep them on retainer, so they've got the equipment, the expertise, and they shoot and edit for you as well and post to social media?
So some of that. It's actually the equipment that my videographer uses now is all my own equipment. And I do it that way because I want to have some control over the process and the position. And if you find a videographer that's going to have their own equipment, it will cost you probably a little bit more than if you're the one that's purchased the equipment. However, for most agents, it might make more sense, especially if you're not running like a team or a broker size model. If you're just an individual agent that wants to have some videos, it might make sense for you to go out and find like a local wedding videographer that wants to have the additional cash or keep busy during the winter months or whatever, that already has their own equipment and their own, tools that they can use. It might make sense to put somebody like that on contract or on like a, here you're going to create 2 videos for me per month. The thing to remember though is the content piece of it. That is still the most important part. So even if you hire an experienced videographer, they're not going to come to you with a bunch of real estate ideas or content. You have to create that on your own. And you have to, kind of help direct the video.
Right. That's probably the biggest thing. Content is king, as everyone says. So do you obviously create your own content. Do you have a map that you use, or a ratio of like, okay, it's 2 a month or 1 a week, and, 1 business, 1 personal, and, kind of mix it up? Or is it just all business and you just get content from, wherever?
Yeah, so the content piece has been something that I have been trying to master over the last couple of years. If you go on and start watching my videos, you will see that they are not your typical real estate videos. They are very off the wall. And a lot of them are just, my brain doesn't work the same way necessarily that everybody else's does. So a lot of them are going to be a little unusual, like the one that we filmed last week when David and Mike Bjorkman and Rosie were all in town. We did well, you'll just have to wait for it to come out.
Can't wait. That sounds cool.
My face is turning red just talking about the video. So,
I'm scared already.
For content, what I would, if I could go back and start over again, what I would start doing right from the get-go is creating a calendar to hold myself accountable to pushing out X amount of pieces per month. So if you're an individual agent and you just want to get more video out there so that you can stay in front of your sphere, say, you should at least be doing 2 videos a month, 1 every other week, something either that's going to attract buyers and sellers. But I'm never going to be the person that's going to say, hey, take your phone, go stand in front of this open house and give a tour of the open house. To me, I mean, I guess that video is better than no video at all. You know, I think there's a coach out there. His name is John Cheplack. He always says, my crappy video will outperform your non-existent video every time. And that's fine. But now there's also enough people out there that are doing decent videos that you have to keep that in mind, that if you're going to put something out there, it doesn't have to be necessarily super professional looking, but it really should have good content so that people do want to come back and give you the time of day the next time they see your face pop up in their feed, because time is really a gift.
Yeah, I'll chime in with this one too. So I'm always on social media quite a bit, and I literally watch Noelle's videos, and I'll watch them multiple times, but I won't really watch many people's videos. There's like, there are very few people that I'll sit and watch a video of, and Noelle is one of those people. So what she's saying in that sense is just be different than everybody else. Don't be doing the same normal stuff. So my question to you, Noelle, is how do you come up with the content calendar, and do you have an example of one that you could like kind of follow?
Well, so I have now kind of honed in on which kind of videos are having more success over the others, because I've been doing this long enough that I can see the numbers and see what's getting more of a response. One of the questions I get a lot is like, oh, what's your ROI on video? Like, realtors just want to know what your ROI on video is. And there's no answer for that. Like, you're not going to be able to just say, oh, because I did this video, I got 3 listings in, 2019. That's just not going to happen. You can't do video expecting to get a direct ROI on it. You have to do video as a way of, for me, I use it as a branding and marketing piece of what I do. I mean, it's mostly what we do. We really don't spend much money outside of our video on, lead gen or whatnot. So as far as a calendar goes, and content ideas, what I would recommend doing is kind of deciding who's your market, like who are you trying to target with your videos? And then how many times a month do you feel like you need to touch those people with your videos? And then make a calendar based off of that. Are you going out and doing things for the community with your videos? Are you going out and interviewing local businesses? We've been doing now, one of the things that we've been consistently putting on our calendar is a show called The Hungry Minnesotan, where we go out and we interview restaurant owners. And we picked that because restaurants generally have a pretty nice following on Instagram. And so they can go and reshare our content to their sphere, and it's a win-win for everybody when we go and video those. So I've been making sure that we are diligent about getting a certain amount of those done per month. We also try to put out at least one creative piece per month. Although if you watch our feed, you will see it's usually like 2 or 3 creative pieces per month. But I would say if you're putting out there something really, really creative and, just outside the box, and you can do it once a month, you will get recognition from that. People will just recognize it. And then I do Facebook Lives every week. So that's something that I just started adding in about a year ago. I started going live once a week on Mondays, and it's not generally real estate related. It's usually something very personal. I'm very open with the people in my sphere about who I am and my personal beliefs. And so usually now my Monday morning lives get quite a few views because it's something that I've been really consistent with and people know what to expect, and they watch that. If you're going to go live for real estate, I would make sure that it's something that's not going to turn off your non-real estate sphere. That it's going to be something that people want to hear, that they want to engage with that content. And that's why I say be careful how many times you go live, like at a listing or at an open house or, in your real estate office or whatever, because people don't really care about that if they're not a realtor in the industry.
Yeah, if you guys want somebody to follow that's really, really good at real estate Facebook Lives, her name is Seven Murdoch. I'm going to type her name in the screen here, or in the little chat box. Seven Murdoch, she is phenomenal at going live and talking about real estate. and keeping people engaged about it too.
Yeah, and she's 20 years old. She's amazing.
So we have a question here from the audience, Gary Kays. What attracted you personally about EXP to move your small company over?
Well, first it was the collaborative efforts of, I mean, honestly, David and Mike Bjorkman played a crucial role in me making the switch. I had been approached by a lot of EXP agents up until I actually met those two to make the switch, and I never would have considered it. One, because I didn't understand the model. I think it's one of the most misunderstood models out there, and we are trying to change that a little bit with our videos and explain it better to people. And then two, think for me, it took finding the right fit, the right group of people for me to join that could have a similar culture to what we have in our office, because we have a very special, unique culture at our office. And I wasn't wanting to just step away from that without knowing exactly what it was that I was stepping into. And then as soon as I understood the model and realized how it would be a better fit for all the agents at our brokerage, and for me temporarily, it might be a hit in income, but long term, if I played it right and continued to do what I was doing, I wouldn't be able to compete with what EXP was offering as a small brokerage. And so for me, once we finally realized that, and we ran the numbers and we had to understand the numbers. I mean, David got sick of talking to me about numbers, guys. This should give you motivation to continue with going after people that tell you no the first time. Because the first time I met David, it was like a total no. And about 5 months later, we joined.
Yeah, it's been no with a lot of people up front. So yeah, just keep at it, keep adding value, and don't be pushy and try to close every time you talk to somebody. Just kind of move them to the next step, to the next video, to the next event. Let them feel the culture and experience the tribe that EXP is, the family that we are. Like, let them experience the people, let them experience the events, right? Let them just do that versus trying to close them to join every single time. Because if you do that, you're just going to push people away.
Well, and I think too, you need to be conscientious of doing things from a place of authenticity. And, that's something that has been huge for me, even with my videos. Like, if it's something that is really not something that I buy into or believe in, you're not going to see it coming out in one of my videos. And it's the same way with agent attraction. If you're not being authentic in a relationship with the people that you are trying to attract, they're going to see right through it, especially people that are running brokerages, because they're generally going to have their act together a little bit more than maybe just your solo agents, because they've got to know, they've got to have numbers. And if they feel like you're just coming after them because you just want the numbers and you don't care about their agents too, then that's going to come across. Mike and David actually spent quite a bit of the time talking to my individual agents as well, because I wanted them to be just as comfortable with the switch as I was.
Well, how did David? Maybe both of you can address this. I've had a lot of people tell me no, and especially brokers. And your message of there's no way that you could compete as a lone broker with what EXP offers. So get that. It seems a challenge at times to get brokers to see that, and I get it. They either see it or they don't. But in your case, you said it was the first shot, strictly no, absolutely no, unequivocally no. But then 5 months later, you joined. So how did that happen?
That's a good question. So how it ended up happening, we traveled in a lot of the same social circles. And so what I would encourage you to do within real estate, what I encourage everybody to do is go out there and find groups that resonate with who you are and what you want to do within real estate. So I ended up being in a group with them where we hung out at a mastermind that was like a weekend long mastermind. So first they had an entire weekend to just be friends with me and to show me what their culture was, just the two of them working together. And then was followed up with a different mastermind that I'm a part of, that Mike Bjorkman is also a part of. And we just kept traveling in all the same social circles. And so the conversation just kept happening. And then finally, Mike broke through by getting me to sit down and actually talk numbers and look at the numbers and pull numbers for what the future could look like if I went out and did agent attraction on top of my normal real estate stuff. And then getting all of that stuff together, and then in the normal world of me running the real estate brokerage during that time, one of my bigger producers at the brokerage, started getting recruited by one of the other EXP teams in town, and they were trying to convince him to leave me anyway. Here's this guy that I'm so worried about, like, keeping happy, and he could leave me at any time. And I think, that's the thing that you need to remind these brokers about, is that they're constantly worried about who's going to walk away from them. They're usually hinging on a couple of big producers, and then the rest of the agents, maybe do a couple deals a year. And so if they're worried about their agents seeing the same kind of attraction level in EXP that I was, they will soon start to at least consider the option. And then on top of it, I had some agents that wanted to go across state borders. And for me, I'm young enough as a broker that I couldn't just go out and get my broker's license in every single state. And I couldn't go out into the states that they wanted to cross into. And so it was the only platform that would allow me to do what I wanted to do here and keep my brand. So if you'll notice, you'll go on and you'll see that we're now Bright Birch, brokered by EXP. We kept our brand, but now we can be in any state that we want to be in. And that was a huge draw for me. And most of the agents that were with me, they also kept the Bright Birch brand. And that was important to them too, because I had done so much brand content that the brand also became very, very strong for us. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Can you clarify? Maybe I misunderstood. When you said before, as a broker, without EXP, you had to be licensed in every state, but now within EXP, you can practice in every state. Did I misunderstand that?
Well, I mean, the agent themselves has to have the responsibility of going and getting a license, but I'm not going to be the detriment to them not being able to go into the state that they want to go into. So if I've got an agent that wants to cross state borders or wants to go across the country, in the winter, people tend to get out of here and they go to Florida or Arizona or whatever. I won't be the cause of them not being able to do that. Now they can do that if they want to. Yeah. And of course, this agent that was saying that they wanted to do it, did they ever get their Florida license yet? No, but at least now I can say, hey, you can go do it.
Yeah, I think the expanding so Tom, I think that one of the things that we really figured out with Noelle is, like, we came from a place of, like, how can we help you and how can we share the vision that we have for you? Because the vision we have for you is so much bigger than what you even see, right? So we were seeing Bright Birch being expanded nationwide. We were looking at how she can build her brand even bigger across the country and build her brokerage nationwide, worldwide, rather than just in Minnesota. So that really kind of helped her make a decision, right? Picturing Bright Birch going worldwide was way cooler than Bright Birch in Minnesota.
Well, and that actually was my announcement video. So once I kind of wrapped my brain around it, then I really embraced it. And we made an announcement video that was a little unusual about us joining EXP. And it ends with me hopping on a train saying going nationwide. And, I think that the world has become such a small space with Facebook and now, like, with this platform. It's amazing that as soon as brokers can kind of wrap their minds around that, they tend to embrace it. And since joining, I've had several brokers, actually, I haven't even contacted them. I've had them reach out to me saying, hey, I saw this. What on earth can we talk?
Wow, that's cool. I'm going to follow your videos to see what you did with your announcement video on YouTube. It's on YouTube, yes?
It is on YouTube, and it's also on Facebook. Yep.
Noelle, are you planning on coming to the shareholder summit and possibly doing some of this, like maybe at camp?
I mean, I could. I guess I haven't been to any. I went to one event so far. I've gone to one event so far. It was Brent Gove's event at Red Rock. That was cool. That was fun. So yes, I probably will be at the shareholder meeting.
Yeah, we'll get her on stage doing stuff. Nice. We're about out of time. So any last questions or words?
Yeah, just if no one's going to ask, I will. Noelle, is there anything that particular that you, I don't know, that's too different from a broker value proposition from a regular agent, but it seems like brokers have a lot of different concerns like liability and overhead. And like you said, top agents leaving them. Is that the biggest pain point for most brokers that you find when you approach them about EXP?
Liability is a huge one. Well, I would say liability is huge. If there's any broker that has been in the business for a year or more, that is a giant pain point, whether they want to admit it or not. And that's coming from me as an attorney. Like, we could handle our own files in cases if we needed to, but it's still such a pain in the butt as a broker to constantly be worried about that would be a major pain point. The piece of having the responsibility for like overhead as far as the office is concerned, that did not go away from me. So I kept the office. And so I think one way to spin that with brokers is, that you still maintain control over your space, you maintain control of your brand, you offer something to agents to be able to come in if they decide that they want to come on and partner with you. And most of the little brokers that I have talked to, they all have a space already. Or, the mega teams, they will have a space already. So I don't think getting rid of like that, and that's the biggest overhead that most brokers will have, right, is their space. But I think finding ways to help them pay for their space is a good idea, or at least show them ideas of ways to pay for their space. In Minnesota, we have admin fees and transaction fees. And so I'm still going to have that here because we kept our office staff. And so she is going to still handle some of the stuff that EXP doesn't handle. And so we will continue to charge admin fees. And that's something that, you have to kind of mentally get around with each broker that you talk to, how that's going to work and what their current situation is. Some of the people I'm talking to, they've got connections with relocation people or whatnot, things that EXP just hasn't figured their way around yet. But any individual person that you've got that's like, hey, I want to join, if you can solve this problem, use your upline, like go up the chain. Brent hopped on the phone with me for something, and I've had people on the phone that, it's what showed me how collaborative really EXP is. Like, don't try to just solo it, use the people around you to help you get those people off the hump. And if there's a question that they have, or there's an absolute no, turn it upside down and see if there's a way that you can get around it or figure it out.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Noelle, they're asking you here, can we contact you after be able to set up a 3-way call with you and prospective small brokers? So you want to give them a contact?
Sure, you can. Or you can just reach out to me on Facebook too. That's fine. But yes.
Cool.
Give my number out.
You want to type it in the chat box? You can type it in the chat box. Whatever we want. All right, guys.
One more question, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I have a large broker, but I'm trying to work through an agent who's at the large broker. An agent absolutely loves working for the larger. It's not one of the big brokers, but they're a large broker, and the broker owner now has a real huge connection with one of the iBuyers. So I'm not quite sure how to approach it. My connection is through the agent, but I'd love for him to be able to show his broker the benefits. So how would you suggest I go about that?
So let me know if I get this right. So you have a relationship with an agent that works at a large brokerage?
Yes.
Okay. And you're trying to get the broker directly?
Well, I don't know if the agent, I guess I'm trying to get the agent to understand that his broker has a really good opportunity, getting at the broker. And they're a smaller broker, not a huge brokerage, but they're about maybe 150, 200 agents. But so just trying to understand how to approach the agent with the idea of the broker coming in too.
Well, I would be upfront with the agent. I would say, listen, if you come over and the broker joins EXP, he's going to go directly under you, and now the whole brokerage is pretty much in your organization, which I think is a great thing. It'll motivate the agent tremendously to make the move, right? Yeah, I would talk to the agent first, and then use their relationship with the broker to take the next step, right? Whether it be a three-way call with Brent Gove or something, your upline or whatever it may be. But I would say, kind of like the old, if I can get you a broker on the phone with mentors making $300,000 a month, would your broker take that phone call?
Okay.
I think any broker in their right mind would want to talk to somebody making $300,000 a month.
Yes. Okay, that's the kind of information I wanted to hear from you. But thanks.
Cool, guys. We're about 7 minutes over already, guys. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you being here, and hope you added some value. Thank you, Noelle.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you guys so much. That was awesome.
Thank you.